Hi friends, my name is Ludmil and I'm DevRel contributor at Near DevHub. I would like to welcome you to the Tools community call. If you haven't attended one yet, those are informal sessions where we share updates, discuss and present tooling projects from the ecosystem. If you want to get involved, join our Telegram group or visit the Tools community page at neardevhub.org. You can see the recordings of all previous sessions on DevHub's YouTube channel. Today, we are joined by Didier with updates from Pikes Peak. Tamagna will talk about the project currently working on. It's called Get Secured. And last but not least, Vlad with Stack updates, including SDK, CLI, and workspaces. Also, we'll be announcing the launch of Teet, but more on that later on the call. Without further ado, if you're ready, Didier, you can take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, guys. Very excited to be in this call. It's been a while, as I mentioned earlier. I wanted to introduce to you guys the new DeFi view on Pikes Peak. So I'm going, I guess, to share my screen right now. And so we just released the DeFi Alpha dashboard. Last time we had the live, which is basically all the DeFi events on Near. We are still working on the parsing of a few events like Borrow Cash, for example, to make sure that anyone can see the amount, the token associated with this specific event. And just to give people an appetite of the market flow on Near, and we're going to add we can add any open source DeFi dApps here basically, but the exciting thing is the search function, right, where you can search any swap on Refinance. At the moment we're going to add jumbo trading and VEX in a second step. But here you can basically look at any swap. So let's say I want to check every swap above 1,000 USD. So the cool thing is obviously the USD value, right? Because you can also check, the next step will be to reconstruct the PNL for any trader. So I don't know if you are used to Text Screener, but that's basically the same thing, but not for any pair, but for any token basically on the Near blockchain. So what insight can we extract from that? Well, basically, if we look at all the swaps above 1K, we see that's mainly liquid staking tokens, for example. We have a lot of Wrapneer USDC, and normally we should have quite a lot of stables swap. The other insight is that there is no meme coins here. I don't know. I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of what's happening on Solana, but it's pretty crazy with Pump.Fun. Pump.Fun has been creating over 1,200,000 tokens in less than 6 months. And I think 80% of token creation comes from actually Pump.Fun on Solana. But here on Near, people are not yet making money on those meme coins. And I guess we need also to showcase those, how people make actually money on Near. And I guess with all the launchpads that we will have in over the summer, we're going to be able to show that and show those user journeys, right, and user success stories, basically. But for example, if we look at let's say a meme coin, right? So I can check U1, for example. I don't know why I have a problem actually with. So that's a small bug. Sorry. Just have a problem with the filter here. The USM, for example. I'm not even sure there is a trade over 1,000 over the last 30 days. Let's check, for example, trades over 50K. And you can also And you can also search by any address. And this, when you will search by, so for example, every swap above 50K, we see a lot of liquid staking tokens, but also a lot of stable. And then that's always the same story, right? If you want to dig in, you can basically, check one address. This one, for example, quite a huge volume, right? Almost, over 300,000 K over the last 35 minutes. And you can check this address and then by clicking on it, and then look at this user journey. So, and if you want to check, for example, here, let's say one address. So this one has not. This one has not traded. Let me check this one, for example. Yeah, and then you can have all the swaps for one specific wallet, basically. So, for example, we see quite a huge inflow for to buy borrow tokens here from this wallet, and we use those journey stories to tell people what's the DeFi, what are the DeFi use cases basically on here. We have the meme race, but this because I presented it last time. Token creation as well, all the recently created tokens on here. And if you want to, that will be useful for degens, right? If you want to check, well, there's this new token. I want to check if there is any trade basically on it. Same thing for all the pool creation on Ref. You have, all the recently created pools on Ref. And finally, we added a new, for the blue chip DeFi dApps, a new metrics page. So let's say, for example, you want to check Refinance. You have the core contracts, the DCL contract here, and the farming contract. And and you can see that the cumulated unique users and new users acquisition, new daily users acquisition. What you see here, this growth is hot wallets, redirecting users to Ref, for example. DPL is more constant. And and for the farming contracts, this growth is also associated with hot Telegram wallet users. And and if there is anything missing here, we just want the main one here to not pollute with a lot of stuff that don't have any traction. But we have the main ones here. So that's the DeFi page. We're going to improve the search function here, and that's for the swap. But ideally, we want also to remove the swap here and have a filter for DeFi event type. Like I want to look at swap. I want to look at add and remove liquidity events. I want to look at borrowing or lending events, for example, and so on. So that's the DeFi view. We've been working for the last 3 months on that, and and we are quite excited. We work as well with the Near Foundation to leverage that to tell those user stories. So try it, and if you let me know if there is any issue, or if you are trading on Ref, for example, if you manage to see your swap and if the value seems accurate, that could be a great feedback for us.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Didier. But is this data going to be also available on your API that you provide? Is this something that people can be using?
Yes, we want to do that, because now communities, they use for 99.9% Telegram, and they have those bots, buy bots on Telegram, right? So ideally, we want to release a WebSocket, and anyone, if you want to look at one specific token, then basically you are getting fed with all the buy events for your token, for example. I think the key thing, obviously, is the USD value that we recompute historically as well. So we can really tell an estimated PNL for any user. Obviously, that's you can't have the accurate picture, because if you do a transfer and then if you sell only 5%, you're going to have the PNL is going to be a bit weird, right? But that's how Dex Screener does the PNL, and it's working pretty well. Bird Eye as well, so you can at least extract some valuable information.
Yeah, and also like especially for, I mean, as you mentioned, people using bots or like using such kind of data to feed
Exactly.
it into bots. What is the delay that we see on Pikes Peak or by the API from the actual transactions before they show
instant.
up?
Instant.
Oh, it's instant or near instant?
Near instant. Well, if you swap, you should see it in less than a second in the live view, for example, and in the search function.
Amazing. So that's very useful information that I'm sure that a lot of interesting projects can make use of. Thanks a lot for the update.
Yeah, the goal is really two things. The first one is to for any degen to have a view of what was the historical big picture on DeFi on year, and see if I want to check this user, I'm interested in this trade, I'm interested in this kind of user because I see a lot of volume. So just to allow opportunities for degens. And the second one is to basically showcase when people actually make money. And we know that usually that tends to attract new users, new DeFi users, because there are opportunities, right? So we're going to be able to tell the stories easier moving onwards.
Amazing, thanks. Any other questions for Didier? I would take that as a no. Then moving on with the agenda, I believe we have Tamagna with us. Tamagna has been working on Get Secured, which is going to be presented now. Tamagna, do we have you on the call?
So, okay. So just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I come from a cybersecurity background, and we're trying to build an automated audit engine for Near and in general for Rust-based smart contract, because majority of the tool is available for the Solidity world, but in the non-EVM world, in the Rust world, TypeScript based, when I actually looked into this and I was exploring how to do smart contract, I was not able to find any good tool or solution for that. So essentially, obviously, I put my product hand on and then thought, why don't we try to build something around it? So yeah, so that is how this journey has started. So I already have a tool which is actually automated Solidity smart contract analyzer, but that's a different thing. So this is specifically building only for Rust-based product, and how we're trying to design it in 3 layers. First layer is on the reusing the existing the cargo crates or packages which is available. There are multiple others are available, but there is predominantly more popular ones which I could find. And this is where I would love to seek your suggestions and advices how to enhance it. Is audit, cargo audit, cargo Clippy, Geyser, UDEPS, and there is something called Miri. These are a few packages of few utilities are already available. So without getting into much details into it, but essentially that will help you to identify if you're using any deprecated packages, or are you using any vulnerable package. Probably you're using a lower version of a library which has certain vulnerabilities and stuff like that, some kind of encryption, lower encryption. So it looks into your cargo.2aml files, understand the dependencies, and give you what kind of various vulnerability and issues probably there. Clippy is a linter. Using that, you can actually find out various kind of linting under formatting issues. However, this can also has capability of give you little higher level warnings which is, let's say, probably unused variable, unsafe variable, and stuff like that. So I'm still kind of looking into it, getting as deep as possible. So this is just the first cut, I would say alpha or probably a pre-alpha. So what do we try to do? One side, we kind of consolidating all possible tools, because running it individually, clubbing the report and all this is also not only security, but also a productivity problem. So what if I can create one single solution or a tool or a script which can actually execute all the tools possible and give you the report in a consolidated manner. So that is the first step. And the second step is actually building custom checks for Rust-based smart contracts. A lot of this is a kind of quite popular and familiar: reentrancy, access control, unchecked returns, unprotected self-destruct. So these are various vulnerability which is pretty standard in the obviously in the EVM world, and we have seen tools like Slither and all this available. But in the Rust world, kind of I'm trying to create custom checks on that. So it is basically I've created a parser which actually parses smart contracts, identifies the patterns, and help you to identify various vulnerabilities. And third is looking into other tools, so SemGrape and few other tools available in the market. So the roadmap wise, these are the few things which I would like to add. But essentially, the idea is this is the one single place where you can execute as many possible combinations of tools together and get the best possible report out of it. And in terms of usage and output, how I'm trying to expose it is there will be a command line utility, like create this like a command line tool, a client. There will be an API. There's a dashboard. There's a Visual Studio plugin and CI/CD and browser plugin. So this is overall the right now the mind map behind this product. Just a disclaimer: I haven't implemented the entire thing; is still in development. I'll just show you now one by one what are the various components I've implemented. So the first thing is, as I said, this tool is initially right now is built in Python, but essentially the plan is we'll migrate this and create this as a utility in Cargo. So essentially this is basically a Python parser which actually scans. You can pass a smart contract like a project, which is basically a project of your kind of um, your cargo project like a project, and it will one by one scan all these issues as a command line tool. So what I've done is I have actually gone ahead and exported the uh, kind of the cargo near template which is available, which is basically the one which is available in the GitHub. So near GitHub smart contract template. Which is I've taken, I've pulled it from there. So I'll just show you the source of it. So near foundation is a near smart contract Rust template. So I have pulled this out, and then what I've done is I couldn't find any vulnerable smart contracts. So as a result, what I've created just to test the tool, I've created sample vulnerable smart contracts, which is basically vulnerable token, vulnerable vault, and stuff like that. So this is kind of how it looks, and this is intentionally created as a vulnerable token so that I can test it, which has in the withdraw function as reentrancy vulnerability, unsafe check, and all this stuff. And then with this, you run the tool. So how you do run it? You actually one option is you can actually go to the you can just run it as a Python script as of now. So you can go there and um, it's actually as a Python script, so you can actually pass this as a Python script like near contract scanner, and then you can pass the path of the project folder, the project which you have created. So this is the project which I've created. So I'll just pass the main folder. So what essentially it will do, first it will go look into your cargo file, look into all the kind of libraries and dependencies, and then it will go to the source code. It will recursively go through all the source codes you have created, the Rust file, and it will parse them and it will scan them. So essentially what will happen if you run this, uh, it is behind the scene, it will run all the scanner, and it will consolidate and give you as a JSON output uh, In terms of summary, it actually, let's say, found total of 1700 finding with high, medium severity. Now, obviously, this is the early version, so there is a possibility of false positives, which I'm actually kind of going to work and continuously improving. But the idea is it actually give you in terms of a JSON where it says what is the lack of access control, what is the problem, what file and what line number has the problem, and yeah, what is the root cause of it. So as a command line tool, you can use it. This file also is stored as a JSON file onto the folder. So what I can do is once you run the tool, you can actually go to the JSON file. You can look into it. You can use it for further probably analysis and parsing as well. So it stores the file on the file system and it gives you in the command line tool as well. So so this is the first part which I've built, and then um, along with that, obviously, I'm in the process of creating a basic kind of utility where you can, it's like a web application. So essentially, what you can do is there is, if you are using this, you actually can kind of upload the file here as a zip file, and the entire project here as a zip file, and and then it should be able to actually scan and give you a report. Now, there is, if you scan it, it should actually generate a report here, like the same JSON file. It will give you as a JSON, and then on top of it, there will be a dashboard which we're building right now. So I built this as of now. This is code focusing on the engine, and in terms of the kind of the output. This is actually also kind of works as a dashboard. So where uh, um, so so this is a very basic dashboard. Okay, sorry, I think I need to. I'll just show you the sample file it generates. Essentially, it will generate a dashboard with some statistics and graph. Um, I need to find out. I think this is a small issue, but essentially it will show you statistics of how it is how this just give me a second. But yeah, essentially just give me a minute, please. Let me just find the.
Very interesting. Meanwhile, how do you decide, or like how do you gather those vulnerabilities that you're scanning the code? I assume that this is only for code that we provide, which is uncompiled, and not for already compiled contracts, correct?
No,
How
this
do
is static code. So actually, this is work for static analyzer. So it's uncompiled, not for compiled ones.
Yeah. For how long have you been working on this project? Because it seems like a lot of work.
So this is actually, so initially the journey is, it was initially I've started building this as as a, a boss scanner. So I've created this as a Visual Studio plugin for boss, and so okay, I have to log in. But then if I actually created this as a plugin where if you're creating a boss widget, it can scan there behind the central call and API. But obviously, I think the boss is no longer functioning. So we are now moving it to the Rainier and Rust. And it is basically something, actual coding is happening for a couple of weeks, I would say, a month. But I think the majority of the time was spent because to understand the Rust format, and I think a lot of this kind of issues is there is no documentation available. So I think it's been last 2.5, 3 months time. I was actually trying to learn and understand what is the best possible way probably I can interpret and uh, create this plugin. So overall, it's more of like a yeah, kind of couple of months is going on this, and this is the dashboard, which is basically essentially it will give you kind of what kind of severity is there in terms of a basic chart, and then based on the frequency analysis, what are the top vulnerabilities found, and some basic explanation. And the idea of this dashboard would be is, this is where we'll feed in an LLM, which is problem is first part is understand, identifying the problem. Second is what to do after that. So the idea here is not only the detection, but once I have the detection, I want to create a very simple, easy to understand uh, action plan, a report kind of thing, which explains for the developers, not in technical jargons, but in a very simple English thing, that what are the things you should do so that you can actually fix those bugs. So first stage is detection, and second stage would be like creating this kind of a playbook or an action plan, which is in a very simple English and with some sample code so that they can go and users can go and developers can go and they can fix it. So, so this is overall the pipeline I'm trying to build in a nutshell. And as I said, this is the first time I'm showing it, and it's a very early developer. So please excuse me if anything is not working. But the idea is to develop and build this along with the community and seeking your support.
No, it's amazing. Like there is in the world, there is not enough security tools in general, and the more we have, the better. And this is a very well, not only dangerous but important and very hard space that you're getting yourself into. So I'm sure that all of us here and the community in general is welcoming and happy to see that you put your effort into it. I believe that Zahid has a question, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Two things. So the first thing is the boss is dead. It's kind of a very early to say. It will leave at least from the.
Okay, good to know that.
Second thing is I think you are doing a great job of starting early, working with community. We always need security tool, but the bigger challenge for me as a developer will be if I have 1,000 vulnerability and don't know
Yes,
what to do. So that's one problem.
right.
I think you probably know about Burp Suite. So
Yes,
yeah. So if you can create a very simple report, and CLI
right.
and everything is good, but maybe I want to add this kind of thing in a CI/CD pipeline, like a Git actions.
Yes,
That will be great. And start with very maybe go to the a top 10 vulnerability, or make a list of this
right.
vulnerability that people always make mistake, and we can do.
Yes.
We can solve
So
this.
yes, thank you so much. So that's exactly the idea we have. So if you see the mind map, what I've done is this is actually, even in the Rust world, there is not top 10 yet. So I've been going and I saw something in Polkadot, something in Substrate. Some people are trying to standardize what are the top 10 or major vulnerability, and that is based on the impact as well as the occurrence, frequency of occurrence. So based on this, I know these are the kind of list of potential, more prominent vulnerability that I could document and identify. And the idea is actually let's rank them one by one and go deep dive, create more kind of scanner or identifier signals, which can identify it in more efficient way. That's what I'm doing. And the other thing is, as I said, if you can see my screen, CI/CD is definitely on my pipeline, which I want to do, and Visual Studio Code plugin. These are the two things I want to do along with the CLI. But I think one challenge I'm facing, and this is where it's an open request to everybody. If anybody would, because there is not enough sample Rust contract, or like Solidity, there's every contract I can go to a blockchain explorer, find all the contracts. Here I'm not able to find significant amount of contracts which has vulnerability or probably something reported, which I can use to test this tool. So I need more data items, because eventually the idea is to create probably a AI model around that. So if you guys, anybody has any interest of doing an audit or something you would like to try it out, I'm more than happy to leverage and work with you guys to do that. So that's pretty much what I have. Thank you.
Amazing. I will add, if you don't mind, I will add into the description below your Telegram handle, or if anyone wants to get in contact with you, just join the Tools community group on Telegram, and they can contact you over there.
Yes.
Okay, on last but not least on the agenda, we'll be joined by Vlad with Rust Act updates and the announcement of a TTT launch. So yeah, looking forward to get to hear more about it. Vlad, I didn't spoil it. You're muted.
Yeah, too many spoilers right there. Let's. Can you stop sharing so I can take it from here? Great. Yeah, a lot of updates actually. So let's start with the biggest release that was cut recently. That is Near SDK for Rust that reached 5.2 release recently, and they had a small patch right after that. Just for those who didn't follow the Rust SDK for Near and might not have heard about the 5.x release, there were a lot of quality of life improvements with introduction of this nice small attribute macro that hides a lot of serialization, deserialization details underneath, so you don't need to just have so much boilerplate anymore in your code. But with this release, it was mostly focused on the performance and security aspects, and compatibility. So if you scroll down on the releases page, you'll see that it's a pretty long list of nice improvements. But let's focus on the most on the highlights basically here today. So the very first one, and I think that's the most important one from the protocol perspective, is the introduction of the new yield execution host functions, which you can learn about in this very nice blog post, and that one is being actively used for AI story. Near AI is dependent on such functionality that you would like cost-efficient way to wait until some other event on chain. So this is really nice. Check it out. Learn more details from this article. On the second highlight is the introduction of this new collection for iterable map. Just a reminder, in Near, you can use the standard collections for your smart contracts like hash map, hash set, and stuff. But if you want to have just one element at a time, it's unwise to store the whole collection hash set in a single key value store internal storage of the contract, and instead you want usually to store them separately. So the key and value is stored just as a individual record inside the smart contract storage, and then it's cost efficient to query just one element from it. And when you want to have a collection that you can not only look up one value, but also iterate over the values, maybe take 10 of them or something like that, you need some other primitive. And this was previously covered by unordered map and unordered set collections. But we recently uncovered that there was a performance issue with the store version of unordered map. So there are two type of collections: the collections near the collections, which is the older one, and have some differences with the interfaces with the standard Rust collections. And then there was a new set of collections introduced later on, which matches the standard Rust collections much better with respect to ownership rules of Rust. And when it comes to the iterable map, this is just an optimized collection that is exactly like a lookup map, but with the functionality to be able to efficiently iterate and you can obviously check if the collection has a certain key or get the value, and you can also iterate over it. You can find all the details in docs. So I encourage you to read this pretty standard API reference documentation that is right there. But you can expect to basically replace lookup map with iterable map in your code, and that will work with the note that you will need to make sure that if you previously deployed this contract, then the internal storage would be different. So you need to make sure that you have a migration or redeploy the contract from scratch. Just a caveat to note. On the other stuff, there are nice improvements for the ABI that is exposed from the contracts side, and also improvements to support NEP 330 with the support for built info field, which is used for reproducible builds metadata. So basically, when you build your contract with CargoNear tool soon, not today, but soon, you will be able to then reproduce and build exactly the same smart contract from the source code and confirm that the source code is matching the contract that is deployed on chain, which was not the case before. Reproducible builds are pretty hard topic in Rust. So there are plenty of other small quality of life improvements. For example, documentation for init or various attributes. You can now find them in the docs if you go to here, or like you could usually you want to search for it init, and now NearSDK near init will explain you what this init attribute would actually do. So that's pretty cool. Well, moving on, just a reminder about the Redacted conference. It was not planned, but I had this tab open, so here we go. This year in Thailand, Bangkok, we'll have the cool Near conference, which I think will have a lot of developers joining. On the next next item on the list is Near CLI-RS, and there were quite a few additions recently. They are mostly quality of life improvements around loading indicators and cutting the number of unnecessary dependencies. And that is pretty cool, actually. So if you now go and open Near, go to account, for example, and I want to view some account information, I'm opening my account on mainnet and want to have details right now. You can see these nice loaders over there. So you're not waiting for who knows what. And the cool part of it that we are also baking in a teach me mode inside the Near CLI. So it will not just, show those loaders, but you can add a flag that will show exactly what type of requests are going on. So if you are a dev that wants to know all the nitty-gritty details, like how to reproduce this kind of behavior, what information, where we are getting all this information from, you can just add a teach me flag, and the Near CLI will be a guide for you. Cool. Moving on. CargoNear. That's another CLI that accompanies Near SDK-RS to ease building Near smart contracts with ABI schema enabled, and soon with the reproducible builds setup baked into, and in general, simplifying the flow. So let's check out the recent release notes. Mostly it was around the updates that I covered in Near CLI-RS just right now. and a huge reduction in the like old dependencies that we managed to cut. So it will be just faster to build at least, and also hopefully safer in a sense. Cool. That's cool to see that people are using Cargo Near. That's definitely the tool that I can also recommend. And and it's very simple to start. So you do Cargo Near new, and again, it just prompted you a name, full project, and this is how you have a new contract. And then Cargo Near build will just guide you through. So that's really cool. Then another tooling update we have a lot, by the way. And the Near Workspaces is our end-to-end tool for end-to-end testing of Near smart contracts. And it's super easy to set up your environment with a local Near node, the full-blown Near node running locally, and then you feed it with the data with your smart contract and execute certain functions on it, confirming that the expected state is exactly what you want. So it's really handy tool to improve, to make sure that your contract is actually sane and secure. Definitely recommend this tool to everybody on that regard. And the main change, and most awaited and blocking update was due to the release of Near 1.37, which forbidden the creation of top-level accounts without a so on behalf of like a random account on Near. So we had to update the dev deploy command to work under the new requirements, and this is fixed now. No changes needed from your side. You can safely upgrade to the Near Workspaces latest version. It will be just using all the latest Near core and all the latest features. And so there were just like a number of improvements on the dependency side. We are cutting the number of dependencies to improve the compilation time for your contracts, for tests, and like in general, and like improving the security. Less dependencies is smaller scope for potential bugs or security vulnerabilities. And Near Sandbox is part of the Near Workspaces story, which provides the local node setup that is running as that you can execute as a code, basically. So check it out. If you didn't hear about it, it could be handy for some other applications on your site, and it's available for Rust and JavaScript as basically libraries on top of Near core CLI or daemon service. Cool. Let's probably finish on the security side of things. This is also a pretty cool project that Hacking team was building with the grant from DevHub. It's a code coverage tooling that you can set up together with your smart contracts on Near now, and then capture basically your whether your tests are covering enough with the whether your test suite is good enough in the sense of covering all the corner cases. Definitely check it out. Nice documentation. It just works. One line change plus one dependency. Really cool thing. And just FYI, there was a experiment going on that I was talking in the chat, in the tooling Near tooling chat recently, of trying to make the API of interacting, like off-chain interaction with Near blockchain from Rust and other languages as well, more intuitive and easy. And as part of this effort, we're experimenting with this Near API REST project, which follows the Near CLI REST interface, more or less, or at least inspired from that, and makes the transaction creation and signing and sending to the relevant network really easy. And it will be, we will push it forward as soon as possible, but it's not released yet. And last but not least, this secret project that Ludmil was already spoiling so much today, Race of Sloth. That is a side project and a secret one with very little affiliation with DevHub initially, but we want to support the whole Near ecosystem and broader open source ecosystem with this project by introducing gamification process to the open source world, where we build, we have a bot on GitHub that does not change the flow much for neither for contributors nor for maintainers, but it makes it so much fun to contribute going forward. And you can start collecting your sloth points and compete in a good way within the ecosystem and beyond. And this is just our contribution back to the open source world, which we all benefit from, building on top of the shoulders of those giants. And we want to grow the community beyond just Web3. We want to build more engagement into it. So definitely want to hear your contributions, and check it out. You can see the source code right here. We use Near to store the leaderboards and to apply the rules of the game, basically the bonus points on the contract side. So you can build permissionlessly your own extensions and maybe provide your own leaderboard, slice and dice it in a way that you like, and just make it even more engaging. So that was the idea behind using blockchain in the first place. So definitely looking forward to get this leaderboard filled with much more people than we currently have. But it's only 2 days old, so you're not late to the party. And this is how it works. So this is the pull request, and then, well, this is Vercel bot interacting with, but then a Race of Sloth. Oh, I forgot to mention, I messaged Race of Sloth right here, and this is how it heard from us. It posted a nice summary about my profile, and encourages me to keep going. And and after that, the contributor, the maintainer, would score this pull request in terms of complexity or stuff. And that's all basically on the flow. It's very lightweight, and we are looking forward to launch it with more partners in Near ecosystem. Stay tuned for all the nice updates. That's all from my side. Sorry for taking so long, but it was packed with various updates right here.
No, amazing. It's always great to have you around and learn more every day for the tooling and all the things that are happening behind the Rust stack, as it plays pretty important role in our ecosystem. I see that Tamagna has a question. I assume that would be towards Race of Sloth. Tamagna?
No, it's around regarding that running the node, custom node on locally on the Near. I'd love to know a little more about it. how to run it locally. So if you
Okay,
could
I
share
think that this would be possible to be answered async in the Telegram channel. This
Yes,
is
yes.
regarding the workspaces. All right, and let me share my screen. I totally did not modify my agenda today, and last on today's call, there will be Zahid, who's going to give us a very quick update of what they have been working on and bring it up to the world. Zahid, you have 5 minutes, and then we go.
Okay, so I'll just share the source, the blog post. So we just released the few updates in our IDE, and especially building the front end. So now you can go and build a full-fledged front end using prompt and then deploy as a boss component. So the whole website can be deployed as a boss component. And inside the IDE, we also kind of simplified the experience. And then we added a feature for saving your assets. So like a lot of time when we build boss component, we have CSS or images that we use. And then the typical process was you will upload those things in IPFS somewhere and then get that link and then use those in your component. Now you have a dedicated section where you can upload those CSS assets or image, and then you can use in your component. So it's more like a pinning service, IPFS pinning service kind of thing. So that will make development faster and kind of life a little bit easier. We are excited about this prompt to kind of a website builder. It is as powerful as any other website builder using AI, but also it can generate a full-fledged Boss website. And in one click, you can deploy it in Boss. So I think Boss is not dead. So we are making it super easy for anyone to build and deploy a Boss component or an app or a front end. So that's kind of the update. Go check this blog. I shared the link. So, and this blog have a step-by-step. And if you are in EthCC or you want to share it with any hacker, so this is the link, and you will find every single step that you have to take to deploy a component on Near or Boss. So that's kind of the main update. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Always a hit. For that smile, I cannot deny it. Thank you all for being here today. Once again, if you want to present your work, suggest discussion topics, or want to get involved, join our Telegram group or visit Tools community page on neardevhub.org. These sessions are held every second Tuesday of the month, and I look forward for seeing you on the next one.